K6BXY is here. Standing by.
And K6F. Wonderful Reno.
N6 Bravo Charlie Tango K0 DWC. Bill, you copy, over.
K6BXY is here.
Okay, Bill, I do copy you. Your Q5 copy, and Byron, your Q5 copy as well. K6BXY. Good morning to both of you. I was just waiting for the other net to clear, and I was going to make a call for some early check-ins. So those folks are cleared off, and we'll start early check-ins here. So, Bill, right now I've got you in the number 1 spot, and Vern, you're in the number 2 spot. So you gentlemen are on the paper. So is there anybody else out there who wants to be an early check-in? Come now.
And U6F.
Well, good morning, Mr. Ron. I'm sure you got a load of snow over there. We got about an inch. What do you got?
Nope, that's it. Just a dusting.
Okay, well, you're coming in good, Ron. You got a good signal in here in the Dayton Valley. So I've got you in the 3 spot, Ron, and U6F in the 3 spot. Anybody else want to be an early check-in for Business Military Radio Net? You're welcome to come now.
No snow here, W6MQI.
This morning in the Dayton Valley. How am I coming in over there?
And W6MQI.
W6MQI, K0 DWC, has a copy, Dave.
Fine. You were dealing with somebody, so I didn't know if you got me or not.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Well, the other station wanting to check in. My apologies. Yeah, go ahead and the next station wants to check in. Please go now.
Well, no reason to apologize, but I'll apologize for doubling with you guys. W7MS.
Well, good morning, Mikey. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you. I heard Dave, but I didn't hear you. I guess I hit the switch too quick. But I've got you in the 5 spot, Mike. Got a great signal in here this morning.
Well, thank you, and so far I've heard you and Dave, and everybody's doing great, and I'm glad to hear there's no snow in Livermore. That's a positive comment.
There's snow in Pine Mountain Lake.
Well, that's true. We want to make sure those squirrels are warm and comfy.
This morning, and turned the big light on out back, and it looked like we had maybe about an inch, maybe. It's stuck, but it probably won't be by tomorrow. But we probably got maybe an inch over here. But Mike, I suspect you probably got about the same amount, according to what Ron said.
Well, that's right. I heard I hadn't gotten the snow report from Ron. Yeah, about a half to 1 inch. No big deal, but at least the weather forecast came through with, I think there was only, last time I looked, like a 30% chance, but, so I guess we won the lotto.
Yeah, maybe we'll all be gone by today, end of the day, but, yeah, I was out earlier. My ladder line was just chock full of snow, but luckily it was just a powder, so I just had to bump it, but, I didn't want to try to tune up and stuff because, those folks on, I think they're on 3870, I think they were on. I didn't want to interfere with them, but everything looks good here as far as setup. I don't have any weird readings or anything, so hopefully we'll be okay. But is there anyone else that would like to check in early and be number 6 for the Business Military Radio Net before I start it? Come now.
WA7YBS.
Well, good morning, Henry. I'm sure you probably got an inch of snow, too. I got you in the 6 spot, Henry. You doing okay this morning?
Yeah, I just have to kind of compensate here and tune a little bit of that powder that's stuck to the antenna feed line. That ought to do it. And tweak and peak. Except no peaking. Tweak and no. So anyway, no, it's an inch and a half, something like that. It's on the feed line pretty good though. So anyway, back to you, Chuck. 1030 WCWA7YBS. I've heard everybody since Bill too. There's no problem copying.
Okay, Henry. Great signal as usual. Just like a sunny day signal. Okay, before I'll give one more call out before I start the net. Is there a number 7 out there I'd like to check in? Come now. Okay, I didn't hear anything, but anyway, good morning to all, and hope everybody's doing okay this morning. I hope everybody's had their drink through this morning. Mike probably's not on a second cup yet, but I'm sure it won't be long. He'll probably be going to get it. But I actually had a cup of coffee this morning. I'm not really a coffee drinker, but it was cold enough out there this morning with all that snow and stuff that I thought, I'm going to get me a cup of coffee this morning. So anyway, all right, guys. Well, good morning to all. This is the Vintage Military Radio Net. This is K0DWC, and I'm Chuck, and I'll be in net control this morning, and we'll be operating on 3.974 megacycles. Vintage Military Radio Net is a roundtable AM net that provides opportunity for licensed hams to operate their vintage military radio gear on the air. Military gear is encouraged, but certainly not a requirement, and check-ins will be given a number that can be used in the handoff, and I'll call for check-ins at the end of each roundtable session. If anybody has anything for sale or has a warrant, please mention it during your turn in the roundtable session. So, here is the list as I have it, according to who I've heard. Very rare occurrence here in the number 1 spot is Bill. N6BCT, congratulations on the number 1 spot this morning, Bill. Good job there, my friend. In the 2 spot is Vern. A6VXY, good morning, Vern. In the 3 spot, Ron, in U6F. Good morning again, Ron. In the 4 spot is Dave, W6MQI. Good morning, Dave. In number 5 spot is Mike, W7MS. Good morning, Mikey. And in the 6th spot is Henry, WA7YBS. So, now that I've officially started it, I'll ask for number 7 before we go to the top. Number 7 check-in is open. If you want to check in, come now. Okay, nothing heard. Well, actually I have heard it. I'm on the R45 ARR7. I'm getting foreign broadcasts on that. Doesn't matter which way I go, IF sharp or all the way over to broad, but I'll probably switch over to the R388 with the loop and use that as well. But that's what we're using this morning, and run the ART13, and we're about 300 watts according to this watt meter. Of course, I've got about 2 watts of reflected power, so that's not a true reading. So we're between 250 and probably 300 watts, and using an amplified D104 mic going through ladder line up to an inverted V. So that's the rundown here. So with that, we'll get started for round number 1, and we will go to the top to Bill, N6BCT, to take it. Go ahead, Bill. This is K0DWC.
Yes, K0DWC, N6, Bravo, Charlie Tango. I'm still running the same old thing. Yes, ST100K, and it's only 25 watts in as the AM mode. There's 100 watts on single program, but only 25 on single on AM. So that's the problem here. I don't have the AM filter on this radio. Seems like I didn't know I needed it when I first installed it, and it found up when I got into AM. I needed it, and it was too late to get one. So that's the story there. And also the other thing is that yesterday I discovered my eye doctor in KGMQ is now retired, and he's back on the air. And he always said him, and I sent him an email about this net, and my standard is that too. So maybe you'll do one of those. But anyway, so that's my here. So it's only second here twice. So put Bravo Charlie Tango.
Push the microphone button, it might hear me better. The switch. This K6VXY Vern in Pine Mountain Lake. Yeah, I guess the best description for snow here surprised me when I looked out in the backyard. There's kind of a mixture of leaf and what wants to be a lawn back there going up the hill. And it looks like an inch of snow there, but it isn't. It won't stick to the street. I guess you'd call this a dusting of snow here. And I got my trusty friend here, the Marauder HX10. It's looking pretty good now as far as appearance. I've been using water and a soft paintbrush just to wipe it down. So all the knobs they're shiny. That's one thing that attracted me to it. I replaced the coax connector on the back. It had broken. I don't know if it was in shipping or what, but I had a few here. I used the circular one, so I didn't have to put the 4 little bolts through that were difficult to get out. And boy, they got a thin head on those screws. I had to find a special screwdriver to get them out. Oh, the handle here is Vern, Victor Easy Roger Nancy, Groveland, California, running the 80-meter antenna, or 75, I guess I should say. We're almost on 75.0 here, aren't we, at this frequency? And anyhow, got a Heathkit SB200, a ICOM 7100, MFJ antenna tuner, the higher power one, and a nice little MFJ power supply for the ICOM radio. And that's it on the equipment. And I've been working on the Marauder here, and it has some tinkling glass in it. I guess for some reason the glass that was on the dial, you know, the outer glass, the plastic piece broke. It was in 3 pieces. I don't know how that happened. And also there's a switch for VFO and crystal. That thing broke, but I found all my Allen wrenches so I could repair that one, the VFO switch. I just put some glue on it, you know, the crazy glue type stuff, and that'll stick back together. So I'm getting kind of courageous, want to fire this thing up. A lot of the initial tests look good. But one thing is I don't have, and this is for Henry, I don't have anything like a Simpson 260 or a VTVM anymore. I have a digital voltmeter, which is nice. It's a little fluke thing I got from work years ago. Hardly ever used it. But it's going to be difficult to figure out if it all is safe and well because of the trying to charge the cap up. I could try the R×1 scale on the little meter here, see if it does something. But we'll see. Anyhow, I'm going to turn to good morning to everybody. NU6F Rhonda's going to take it here. MQI Dave. Mike, Mr. MS there, and who sent that wonderful report on Squirrel Day last week, and WA7YBS, who sent me some tune-up or free power tips and power-on tips for the Marauder here. But it sure looks nice. That's one reason, again, that I picked it. It looks like it's almost brand new. I mean, there's no scratches or anything, and what little stuff is on it, I guess, just collects over the years. And inside the radio, which is now outside of the cabinet, and it's a lot easier at this weight. I figured it weighs about 64 pounds, and that's manageable, sort of. Anyhow, the cabinet's all been washed. That I washed out in the patio with a hose, safe with no electronics in it. So it looks like it's going to be a fun project here, but I'm taking it slowly to make sure I don't mess it up, because it's a nice unit. I want it to work. There's 21 tubes in it. A couple solid-state devices. I forget what there's, diodes and things and stuff like that. Anyhow, that's enough on the radio right now, but let's see. I'm going to turn over to Ron, NU6F, this K6VXY, and the cloudy sky. I missed that planet alignment again. It clouded up today. Over to you, Ron. It's K6VXY.
Okay, looks like I got it. Yeah, there we go. All right, well, good deal on all. Good morning, gang. Chuck and Bill, Vern, Dave, Mike, Henry. Looks like everybody is hitting the SDR at about the same level, minus 60. So, boy, conditions must be pretty darn good. Chuck, I was having a hard time copying only because your carrier is full squash, but it's like you're way off from the microphone, and so it's like, so I know it's like you gotta always remember, okay, on this rig, and this microphone, it's close talk, on this one, it's not, so anyhow, that's the only thing I noticed, but yeah, snow-wise, Chuck, Henry, Mike, about the same. You know, you can, at the most, 1 inch, but yeah, dusting. So, and I didn't check the forecast, but I think it's supposed to be staying pretty cold today, so I doubt if it's going to melt off. I know it was, what was it? It was in the teens yesterday morning, and I had to take off for the day over to Colfax, went over the hill, but no, missed the snow. I was anticipating that, got back in the afternoon, and it was still just a little haze gray and overcast. That was it. And let's see, running the T3, and I was curious to see what happened after we had the incident last week where I powered it up, and before the main high voltage came on, why, I heard a big snap. Well, it was pretty loud, a little flash, and then I happened to notice I had no meter readings, but it seemed to be working fine. Anyhow, took it all apart. Well, I didn't took it apart. Slid out all the units. Couldn't smell any smoke. Couldn't see any smoke. No damage anywhere that I could see, and the meter leads was nothing more than just dirty contacts on the meter switch. A little bit of deoxit, wipe it back and forth, and all the meter reads were there, so heck, I don't know. Maybe one of Vern's bed bugs crawled inside that power supply and got across the 400 volts, but that was about it. Vern, okay on the squirrel report? Well, it's frosty enough that hopefully the squirrels can find something else to chew on besides Dacron rope up in the trees. And receiver-wise, using the R390 and using the inverted L 170 foot, which is now it's a lucky thing it is inverted L for 630 meters. All right, with that, take it away, Dave. Livermore, W6M, QI, NU6F.
And NU6 WSF, W6MQI. Alrighty, guys. Well, everybody sounded pretty good this morning. I'd say, Vern, you're, had to turn everything down here. You're slamming in here in Livermore. Sounding really good. And, got to look up that, Marauder. Take a look at that on the internet, see what that's all about. But, yep, this is Dave in Livermore, and it's, 42 degrees, overcast, and a little bit of wind. Just a lovely day out there. No snow. In fact, it hasn't snowed on the floor, valley floor here since I was in high school. We had, God, I bet we had 2 to 3 inches. It's crazy. Teachers couldn't keep the kids in school, so they just let school out, went berserk. I actually skied in my parents' backyard. It stayed for a couple days. That was crazy, but I haven't had anything since. Well, we're on the TCS today with the D104 microphone, driving the Drake L7 amplifier. And again, everybody sounded good. And we're on the T3. Yeah, maybe a bug or one of them dust bunnies flew in there and got across something, some sort of high voltage, and decided to go poof. Yeah, that's always, God, it's like, what the heck happened? And then you're kind of got a little PTSD for a while. All right, let's see. I guess Mike's next. So up to Michael. W7MS, W6MQI.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Dave. W6MQI and the military vintage net, Nevada style, W7MS. Yeah, trying to work on that second cup of coffee, Chuck. Very good. Well, Dave sounded well. Glad to hear you didn't get any snow, because that would be mean that we'd be really in trouble up here at this latitude and altitude. And Vern, congratulations on the HX10 and the fun you're having. Sorry to hear you had some shipping damage, but not unexpected with good old G-force trauma. It's kind of hard to keep all that together, but I'm glad it's relatively minor in nature and reversible versus the unreversible. And Henry, Ron, trip over to Colfax, so that's good. I guess a little personal run over there. And then you've got friends over on that side that you stay in contact with. That's been a topic of discussion. So hopefully everything's okay on that side of the hill. And congratulations on wasn't even a jiggle fix repair on the T3. It was more like a flash bang repair, and whatever it was vaporized. So it's good. And I guess the downside was if you found like a dead mouse in there, that would be a little disconcerting. But no evidence other than the fact that you fixed it one way or another. So that's good. And Chuck, thanks for being net control this morning. Sounding great. And currently 13 degrees, so I think it was 10 when I woke up, so it's warming up. And unlike Ron's comments, I hope we get a little solar energy today to melt that snow off. It won't take much, but if we don't get that, yeah, we're just going to have to look at it. But it's not sufficient enough to be addressed with more than maybe a push broom. There's not much out there. But this morning running the Collins 30K5, 250 watts of carrier, listening on the Rockwell Collins A51S1. Microphonium is the amplified D104, courtesy of the K0SF MOSFET op-amp kit that he offered in the 90s out of QST magazine, which was also courtesy of the good old days in Sparks and the freebie pile, when I pulled that an envelope out of the pile and thought, well, maybe I can use this someday. So that's the story here. and maybe we'll get some project updates on the Manhattan project here on the next round. But over to Henry. Good morning, Henry. Oh, and by the way, good morning, Bill. Great to hear you as numero uno. Congratulations. WA7YBS, W7MS.
All right. And W7MS, WA7YBS, all right. And yeah, just checking the meters here with the amount of snow that's on the feed line. And it's 108 feet of feed line. So I'm amazed that it's, I can tune out all of that additional whatever snow presents on the feed line. It does change the impedance match. So anyway, good morning to all. Bill, Vern, Ron, Dave, Mike, Chuck, and pretty good signals from everybody. I'm listening on the Raycal RA-17L, and I'm noticing that the carriers are down on everybody. And the Raycal has a tendency, and this is well known for the RA-17Ls, to go through RF amplifier tubes rather quickly. And so that's the symptom. Your carrier level meter begins to not respond much, although you can hear the signals pretty good. So I've already replaced this RF amplifier in the RA-17 a couple of times, so I got a whole bunch of those tubes, so yeah, just in case. And so that's something observed, but the signals sound great, so that's the important thing. And let's see, Vern, on the on that stuff I sent you about pre-power up and all of that sort of thing, and using a VOM. I would just assume that all those electrolytics probably are open, and if they aren't open, they dry up. They dry up, and then the capacitance goes way down, and they measure as open. But if you actually put a capacitance meter on, they got a little bit of capacitance, but not much. And but in old, I use triplets, for VOMs. I have 630s, I have 3 or 4 of them. And they're very handy for measuring, like 5,000 volts. Well, not that much, but anyway, you can measure DC voltage quite high on the old triplet 630, and also the hang up. And this goes for the Simpson 260 also, is that high voltage battery in there, that 30 volt battery. What a pain. Luckily, you only need that on the times 100 k ohm scale. So mine don't have any 30 volt batteries in them, so I can't use that scale. But I mainly use it for current, go up to 10 amps, and I use it for voltages that are over 600 volts. So anyway, that's the rundown on VOMs. And Ron, on the T3, yeah, there's, mine anyway has a bunch of screens and stuff like that where there are openings. And, to get in, a bug would have to be pretty small, but he could go in as a baby and then grow up inside there. I don't know what he'd eat, but, anyway, those things happen. It's probably more than likely accumulation of dust. Blow it off, boom, it's gone. And it happens at high voltage, but I think you said it was on the 400 volt, which usually it doesn't do that. But the 2500 volt, well, a little different story there. And TCS sounds good there from Livermore. No snow except when Dave was in high school. Yeah, we have about, it's a little over an inch. About 1.5 inches here, but it's not much. Hopefully it will melt quickly. And the temperature was 23 this morning, so it was not bad, not too bad. We're running the Collins 32V3 for the transmitter, and 110 watts carrier power, and checking, yes, we're still at a null, so we have the snow tuned out. And looking forward to hearing any updates on the Manhattan project. And the 30K5 sounds excellent. So, that's that. Back to Chuck, K0DWC, WA7YBS.
Okay, Henry, WA7YBS, K0DWC. That's funny, Henry. It could get in if it was a baby. That's pretty good. I like that. That's funny. Oh, wow. Mike, you know, I had a feeling that you were on a broadcast type transmitter because the giveaway for me was the audio. Your audio today is superb, and I'm thinking Mike's running one of the big broadcast transmitters, and sure enough, 30K5. That thing sounds really, really good. You know, the audio and everything with a big signal, it sounds fabulous. So, great job there. And Henry, you're pounding in. Dave's TCS sounds really good. He's got a real strong signal. And Ron, you need to put some shields in that T3 there, man, and prevent them babies from getting in there. That might be the trick there. And Vern, the IC7100, sounding really good, and I concur with Mike. Congratulations on the HX10 Marauder acquisition. I'm sure you'll have a lot of fun with that, and I like the fact that you fell in love with it because the knobs were shiny. Pretty cool. And Bill, you're coming in just fine on 25 watts. No problem. I've got 2 receivers on, but I'm using that for everybody. So you're coming in really well. So let's see, is there anybody out there that wants to get in on the tail end of the first round and be number 7? If I could check into the Business Military Radio Net, come now. Okay, I didn't hear anything, so I guess we will go up to the top and start round number 2 with Bill. Bill, go ahead and take it. N6BCT K0DWC.
Bravo Charlie Tango. I have to switch it out to moving the military foot. Anyway, what I was good. I've had remember guys for that 2 boxes of job that we took MIT on the telephone at 4 o'clock this afternoon. And we've always been working on what's going on in it. And that's what goes through. Those 2 early for me, I guess, I don't know. Anyway, maybe you were good next to because not too many movies doing well right away. Anyway, good up and anyway, I'm calling for 360 years live, right? Let's go this way.
Okay, you caught me there, Bill. Good signal this morning. Everyone's coming in good. I decided to get some Q-tips. I've been looking at the knobs. I think it was Henry, or no, it was Chuck, mentioned something about the shiny knobs, and so I got the Q-tips here. I got a bunch of them, and just dip them in water and go and make little circles on the knobs, and you get another part of the stuff that's probably been collecting over the years. I'm doing them now. I'm doing the meter. There is a couple 1,000-volt meter on here too. I can check it if I get to that point using the one on the front dial here. Boy, that looks really good. I'm in some ways, I guess they call me a beatnik. I like to make everything really nice. And why not, Just how much does it cost for a few drops of water and a Q-tip? Not a lot. But boy, that the Q-tip is doing it. I got about 5 of them here in a little cup of water. I'm moving from the mic. I'm going to hit the main tuning knob here. It's a big unit, so it's got a bigger circle, of course, and going around with the Q-tip on the very inside edge there, you know, where there's a ridge, and that cleans it up. And then here is the band switch. You know, I thought that the rotating dial, like I had on one rig, what was it? I can't remember which one, but they used a circular dial as you change frequency. No, I know what it was on the VFO, and which I don't have anymore, but it was a round drum, and it's, as you change the band switch, it changed. I thought, oh, that's broken, it doesn't change. Well, this unit does not have that. It has something kind of clever, because I've always been a fan of Heathkit, but what it is, it's just a knob that goes from is that right, 0.4 at the low end, and 0.9, and then goes up to 0 and 1. And it's for the different bands, so you just interpolate where you're at. I haven't gone through the calibration, even got to that point, and I'm not too worried about it. I want to know that it works on 3970 and 3870 and 3974. That's the main things I'll use it for. But it will do all modes, and it's got a very interesting band switch switch here. It's got off, standby, push to talk, then it says spot and manual. Rather interesting. So, well, push to talk box is another switch you set it for. But it does all these neat things. But boy, there was a lot of filth on the inside. There still is. I used water to wipe it down. One thing they did, and I don't believe I ever owned a Heathkit that did this, but all of the tubes are identified by their Victor number, V number, and the type of tube it is. If you ever get too aggressive at changing tubes and don't know where to put a tube, it's there. And one thing I don't want to do is the old water wash I used on the DX100. That worked, and I let it dry for 2 weeks, but the trouble with that is if you have the tubes on the inside, and I believe I pulled all the tubes, you're not going to know what tube you got because they'll wash off the tube marking and tell you what it is. But anyhow, yeah, that little bit I did on a few of the dials, they're even shinier. Someone said something about the shininess there. Anyhow, I'm going to turn it over to Ron, NU6F. I just wondered too, has anyone found, I've been looking for, it's a 2-pin microphone plug. If anybody knows where you can find one, but I need something like that, and I'm thinking of starting with the D104 or a Shure M444. I'm going to have a lot of fun fiddling with different mics, but the price on the D104 is pretty high, and I know it's a good mic, but I don't need an amplified mic for sure. There is a mic gain button here that goes from, oh gee, what does it do? Let me look at the dial there, mic gain. I think, let's see, sensitivity of, is that it, microphone? Well, the basic, what is that, 270-degree rotation? Not everybody wants to hear all that, but anyhow, I'm going to turn it over to Ron there, NU6F, and the group, K6 VXY. Going to have a lot of fun. Worst thing, though, about this unit, and it is the worst thing, oh, it's heavy. You got to be careful. You can tip it on its side and everything, but I worry about earthquakes now. Over to you, Ron.
Okay, good deal, Vern and the gang. I got Still solid copper in everybody, running into minus 60s area over there at, that's just kind of odd. I was just looking how consistent everybody's signal is over to KPH. Oh well. Anyhow, well, good deal. Henry, on the Raycal RF preamp. That's weird that the RF amp tube goes out that often, so I guess it must be running super linear mode with a lot of idle current. Yeah, you wouldn't think that that would be a audio output tube. Okay, occasionally, but okay. And Mike, glad you got the 30K5 powered up again to make sure if you got any baby bugs crawling around underneath screens in there, why they can also meet old Sparky and end their useless existence. Yeah, Dave, on the PTSD, yeah, I turn the amp on, and it's kind of like watching the Jack in the Box, you know. It's like you turn the main breaker on, and the 400 volts comes on after the time delay relay, 30-40 seconds. So you're counting the seconds. 1001, 1002, cringing. No, nothing. Okay. And Vern, good deal on your Marauder eye candy. Well, you'll need to make a special QSL card and put a bright light on that front panel of the Marauder. And yeah, like Henry says, yeah, usually they just go open from drying out. So it's a for sure thing. It'll probably have to get replaced, but unless somebody's replaced them before, but I doubt it. And yeah, let's see. The other thing was 630 meters this week. Why, I finally got in touch with Brian, NI6Q. We had a QSO. He was using his Marconi and the Marconi receiver and the ART13. Really weak signals, just barely at the edge of copying both sides okay. But I don't know what it is. Past to Colorado, I mean, it's like Mike AI8Z and I can get on pretty much any time from 7:30 till 10 o'clock, and boom, there we are. But I'm feeling the lack of selectivity for the receive. The BC348 is just not cutting it because we've got so many of the darn Whisper beacons and other CW beacons that come on, and anything within 1 kc, and I'm hearing it. But I guess that's the good news. I still continue to have an amazingly quiet sight for 630 meters. Still scratch my head saying, I don't know how that can possibly be. And the Whisper transmitter, I put that on for an hour a night, and running 50 watts to the 1%. I finally got it calculated. I am at 1.1% efficiency with my RF current and ground measurements. So there you go. So with about a half watt ERP, of course the Whisper mode picks up signals 30 dB down on the noise. But I'm consistently getting Alaska and Mexico, southern Baja, and back east, out as far as, where were we yesterday? Oh, I think we made it to eastern Minnesota and Nebraska, out that way. So I'm working on a transverter for 630 meters that I can run one of my little SDR rigs into. So I will have major selectivity then with all kinds of filters, and it'll be a lot easier to work CW down with that. And the other fun project is the mag loop, dual mag loop. It's my own unique design at this time, and I'm waiting for the low noise amp to come but it's a thing of beauty. All right. With that, Dave, on the TCS, I did, when I was over in Colfax, I met, went to church over there. We had a memorial service for a buddy, but I was hoping my friend Dave would show up from down in San Pedro, and he's the vice president of the Battleship Iowa museum ship group. He was actually stationed on the Iowa back during the Gulf War. But anyhow, and he became a ham afterwards, not very active, but I asked him about, when are you guys going to get some period gear in one of the radio rooms? And so he said, yeah, I've been thinking about that, and I'm thinking maybe to make one 19-inch rack with period gear. But I said, well, I'm sure there was a TCS there somewhere, so let me know if you guys find any sketches, drawings of either radio, it wouldn't have been Radio 1, but maybe Radio 3, and so I said, if so, let me know, and we'll beat the bushes and try to get one rack of period gear. All right, take it away, Dave, W6MQI, NU6F.
And U6F, W6MQI. All right, Ron. Well, let's see. Yeah, I was going to mention, Ron, for 630 meters, yeah, you might have to go to a SDR receiver, something a little more modern than the BC radio that we've been using. But that's cool. At least you're getting some contacts anyway. I don't think I'm going to go there where I'm living. If I get some property somewhere, then I might think about it. But yeah, I'm not going to do it here. Even though I got the equipment to get on 630 meters, I'm not going to do it. Vern, I probably have some of those 2-prong mic plugs sitting around here somewhere. I know I saw some a while back, thinking, what the hell am I ever going to do with these? But they're in a box somewhere. So if you're interested, I'll see if I can find one for you. Let's see. Mike, nobody else mentioned it, but while you were transmitting, you dropped way down. Like, I don't know, I thought maybe somebody was tuning up on you, but I didn't hear anything. The audio and everything sounded fine, but it's like a switch went off. And then it, towards the end, bang, it came back on again. So, could be on my end, because nobody else mentioned it. I'm assuming everybody got the email from Tim and 6CC. They got their annual winter field day out at Rio Vista. They're going to be on 40 meters during the day, CW and phone, and then they'll also be at night on 80 meters, 35, 50, and I don't remember the 3995 or something. Don't quote me on that for the AM and single sideband frequency for at night. So I'm going to try and get that. I got my TRC 77 all back online here, and the PRC 515. And everybody, or net controls always mention if you got any wants or for sales for the net. Nobody ever has anything for sale, but I do now. Just put it out there if anybody knows anybody. I'm selling my TCK transmitter. I don't want to take it back with me when we move back east. So I want to hopefully have it go to a good home. And then Ron mentioned USS Iowa. Maybe it could go there. I don't know. But I've given myself 2 years to get rid of it. I'm willing to work with somebody price-wise. I'm even out willing to trade for something. This may seem strange, but I'd like to find a B model T195 Army transmitter. I'd be willing to trade for that if it was working. And the B, the solid state dynamotor configuration, so I could run it off my power supply I have here. But, so I'm giving myself 2 years to get rid of that. I'd like to have it go to a good home. And like I said, if it doesn't get sold in 2 years, I got to go to Plan B, and that's not going to be good. So, anyway, that's what I got for sale. If anybody knows anybody or is interested, email me, and go from there. I think that was it that I wanted to talk about. So I guess I'll send it over to Mike. W7MS, W6MQI.
Well, thank you, Dave. I'll keep an eye on the LP100A. Thanks for the comments on maybe having a dropout here. I have, on rare occasions, had a the standard hamster issue of coax jumpers, but I didn't have any high SWR alarm on the LP100A. It would have sung out to me, so we'll keep an eye out. So, W6MQI, W7MS, we don't want to hear about Plan B, and I'm sure that Plan A, maybe it's headed over to Ron's house as we speak. I think he could make room for that, but we'll see what his comments are. And, well, great on all. Oh my gosh, the ominous Raycal 18 RF amp tubes. Well, we'll keep an eye on my unit, but I would also think with the receiver rotation that occurs at Henry Station and also here that be interesting to see what the lifespan in an hour graph would be for those tubes, because it's certainly not in a 24/7 environment. And great on Bill contacting John. Chuck's still doing fine. No problems hearing you, Chuck, this morning. And Ron, I guess there's some verification there and some conversations we've had on what was going on in Colfax. So I guess you were on a mission yesterday. So one thing I'm happy to hear is you didn't have to deal with any weather-related issues, because that would just have complicated the day even further. And Vern, I'm wondering in the Marauder if it's solid-state rectifiers in that, if it's hardwired, or whether you've still got vacuum tube rectifiers, because I'm going to recommend, I don't do a lot of recommendations, but an initial heat up, if you can pull the rectifiers out of their sockets, if in fact they do exist in that moment in the HX10. Also verify the fuses are correct, because standard hamster technology is to substitute a 32 volt 20 amp automobile fuse and the fuse holders, that's standard. You know, give yourself the best chances of if there is a flash bang, you've got some backpedaling room there. So that's my only comments. And let me see here. Yeah, on the Manhattan project, I think we're at the point now of that PTSD developing some confidence, especially in the flash bang area. And now we have to build the AC control box to manipulate, you know, the plate supplies in push-to-talk mode. Also build up a bias, negative bias circuit for the PA and the driver tube. Since grid bias is cool, but if you lose excitation and you're not fast enough with the off switch, you may end up doing some grievous damage to some unobtainium vacuum tubes. And so that's the next step in the process. It's proceeding quite fine, and do have a PA amplifier on the way, and as Henry has mentioned, they're dirt cheap. My purchase, it was $7, and with shipping and sales tax, it came to $21. Of course, it's a no test as is, but we'll see when that Bogan shows up what happens for my $21 expenditure. So that's the updates on that. And so, you know, that's life is good. Also got up on the tower Thursday and and bum drop the what was left of the Cushcraft Tribander, just so it's all cleaned up. So at least I don't have to look at it because it looked awful sad up there in its destroyed state. So that's taken care of. So sometime in the next month or two, we'll get the Force 12 up there with some assistance, because it's a fairly long boom antenna, and it'll be an interesting hour or two to get it up on the tower, but that'll be in the works. So over to Henry, WA7YBS, W7MS.
Okay, Mike. And yeah, very good. Copy on all. Everybody is still doing good. Yeah, I did switch receivers, and just doing a little peek and tweak. Okay. Not that the Racal wasn't picking up everybody, but it did. You know, it's acting kind of strange. So, and that's, as mentioned, symptom RFM. It seems to go through the RFM tubes. They don't. They don't die. They just get weak awful fast, and it takes about a year of intermittent operation. And so, normally we're used to, you put in a good set of tubes and something you restore in the way that we use them. That's it. You don't have to do anything else ever again. But the Racal demands a little bit of maintenance on it. So anyway. We'll take care of that a little bit later. Right now we're listening on the Collins 51J4. Well, that was the closest thing and easiest thing to get hooked up to pair up with this 32V3. So that's what we're using. And of course it's the light gray smooth finish panel, and it's it has the RC Collins installed RC filter for 6 kc position, so it's actually about 8 kc or so. It's pretty nice, and for AM anyway. So anyway, that's what we're running. Everybody seems to be pretty normal on the carrier level meter, so I do suspect there could be a coaxial cable. You never know, the one from the receiver. But we'll find out. Okay, let's see. On Brian on 630 meters, that's good. I was going to mention about antennas. There was a guy I talked to in El Dorado Hills on 630 meters, and he had a 38-foot tall vertical, but he had some, I don't know, a whole lot of radials, and he must have had some sort of capacitance hat, because that guy put out a signal that was unbelievable. KI6R. He has since moved from the Sacramento area, California, to Arizona. But I don't know if he does 630 CW anymore. But he had a relatively small antenna, and it was a vertical, only 38 feet tall, and he put out a heck of a signal. So anyway, that's that. Okay, on the TCK for sale. That's a lot of pounds per watt. And so anyway, good on that. And let's see. On the, I am really surprised on the Manhattan Project that so much of that is kind of like unfinished. I don't mean that you've not finished, but that over the 80 years or so that thing has been in existence, probably even longer than that, 85 years in existence, that this stuff wasn't ever done. But, those things were, as you know, they were, I guess you'd call them dealer kits. And I guess the dealer that got that one, well, I don't know. I guess he didn't ever put it together. So anyway, it's in good hands now, and will be operational soon, I'm sure. And yeah, aren't those Bogans just cheap? I think the one that I got was guaranteed mint working, and it was $50, and the shipping was like $10 because it was over in Sacramento. and I don't even think it was $50. I think the guy made me an offer, and I think it was actually 40 or 37 or something like that. But it turned out really nice. The first one, though, was the one from Arkansas. That was the one with the disconnected wires inside and spider webs and stuff. So anyway, yeah, the Bogans are just something else. And I really, the one that I use, the CT100, is really does a good job driving, driving the W6 MIT big rig. So very good. Let's see. One other thing, I hate to mention it, but if anybody wants to know almost everything there is to know about Technical Material Corporation GPR 90 series receivers, that's all of them that they made. And there's a variety of GPR 90s, the RX, the RXD, the R, the ones they put in diversity receivers, the GPR 92, and the GPR 91 RXD as another one. But anyway, if you want to read all about that good stuff from Technical Material Corporation, I put a new article up on the website. It's extensive and lots of photographs. So those of you that like photographs, well, there's at least 45 of them on there. So anyway, that's the plug for the new article, the TMC GPR 90 series. So with that, turn it back to Chuck. K0 DWC WA7 YBS.
All right, Henry. WA7 YBS K0 DWC. Well, all right, on the TMC stuff, that's pretty neat. Sounds like a pretty extensive article. Wow, 45 pictures. I'll have to check that out. Man, oh man. All your pictures are excellent, by the way, Henry. They're all really, really good photographs on the website, too. So, looking forward to seeing them as well. But, yeah, Henry, I don't know about over at your place, but it's snowing here now, again. It's not snowing super heavy, but it's coming down enough to probably, it might stick a little bit, but it's been doing that since I started the second round. Anyway, Brian, I was just wondering, you mentioned on the Marauder, Carl was curious too about running that on 3870 and 3974, and great on 3974. She and I were just curious as to what if anything is on 3870. I mean, is it an AM net or anything, or maybe you could enlighten us a little bit on what might be on 3870 in the AM mode on that. Sometimes I check it, I don't really hear anything, but I might have just missed whatever it is, if it's anything. But maybe you could comment on that. Feel good on talking to John. When you talk to him again, give him our best and tell him we wish him well and to take care of himself there with W6 MIT. So let's see. Everybody continues to have a really, really good signal this morning, and I think I've decided I'm probably going to get out the Bendix MN26L receiver that I've got. That's the big Bendix receiver that goes from 2.9 meg up to 6 meg. I think I'm going to pull that out and do that instead of the RA10. The RA10 I've got, I don't know this for a fact, but it looks to me like that thing was never issued. It hasn't been touched at all. It's even still got some of the wood in between the shock mounts and stuff. It's old wood, you can tell by looking at it. But besides, I was thinking about doing the RA10, getting that up and going, but the RA10 that I've got did not come with the loop relay. and I've since acquired a separate Bendix loop relay for that receiver, and I've got to install that on the front panel. So I figured I'll put that on hold for a while and open up the 26L Bendix and see what's going on inside of that. So I got to dig it out, but I'm going to go with that instead. It only took me 2 months to decide what I wanted to do. That's pretty pathetic, you know? So anyway, that's what's going to be happening here in the near future. Working on that. Run that on the air, you know, with whatever transmitter I want to use. Anyway, that's what's going on here. And I guess let me make a call out. If anybody else wants to check in on the tail end of the Second Avenue number 7, please come now. Okay, nothing heard. So with that, we'll go back up to the top. Bill, I hope you can still hear me. Up to N6BCT in the group. Go ahead and take it, Bill. It's K0DWC.
I haven't got anything else to add, so it's over to
let me break in real quick there. This is a 7-3 round. Sorry, guys.
Okay, I guess I got it. K6 VXY. Yeah, the Wednesday net, first question to answer there is on the, this week is good, that's why I mentioned 3870. The net control on the 5th Sunday of the month is a guy that I knew from HRO days and we've continued to communicate. His call is King 6 India Charlie, K6IC. I won't tell you his old call, but it was a really funny one. He was a WA6 earlier? I forget. Anyhow, his name is Vic. That net starts at 8 o'clock officially local time. And the reason this week is so good is he is in Livermore, in the hills above Livermore. You should pick him up really well. And that's the AMI net. AM International Net. They meet every Wednesday night. At 7 o'clock you can check in, get it an early check-in. I'll tend to do that, talk to Vic for a little bit. And that's the official AMI net at 3870. And they're pretty much all up and down the West Coast. There's stations all the way from Oregon and Washington some, but it's mostly all California, Northern and Southern California, maybe Arizona. And it's pretty good propagation. Most everyone's running a lot of power. And it works out pretty well. So that's the 3870 thing. And as far as the local thing here, and this is for Dave, W6MQI. Yeah, a 2-pin microphone would be great. The other thing I've been searching for, actually I got a great one from Vic, K6IC. He gave me a brand new Dowkey relay, 110 volt relay years ago. And also got it. This thing was brand new, never been used. And I used that for my TR, transfer. And I got to get one of those before I do anything really serious with this Marauder rig. I do have a switch there. I can go from standby, and I got an antenna switch that'll ground the receiver when I throw the other way. That's what's received, but it'll work, and I can get on the air with it. But I got to be really careful with something like that. That I remember to throw the switches in the right sequence. And Dave, if you want to reach me, I don't know if I'm on QRZ or not, but this is for W6MQI. I can be reached at V as in Burn. You all know I'm Burn, not Burn or Turn or Current. I get a lot of stuff like that. Tapper is the last one. Tapper at Comcast.net. And I definitely would be interested in 2-pin mic, or if you got any mics, or I'm looking on eBay right now, or TR switches, for anything like that you want to get rid of. I'd be all for that. And some of the prices on eBay are reasonable, some they're after collectors. So anyhow, there's VTapper at Comcast.net, and no relation to that. I wanted to say that, make that perfectly clear. As far as I know, relation to that guy on CNN that I'm not a big fan of, but I remember once my dad, he was from Sweden. He went to see one of his relatives who lived in Berkeley, who had also migrated from Sweden, and they got to talking politics. And my dad, being a carpenter, was a lifelong labor union guy, although he voted for Reagan, which surprised me later on. But he was visiting with him, and politics came up. And my dad lived in Oakland at the time, and his relative, I think he was a cousin or something, gave him his hat and told him to leave. So that's the political statement for the day. Anyhow, there's VTapper at Comcast.net, and if you want, I can give you, when you get a hold of that on email, I'll send you my phone number if you want to talk. But I'm very interested in that 2-pin mic, because I looked at that section of the transmitter. That thing is anchored in there pretty well. I was thinking of changing connectors, but it's one of those things they used to do at Heathkit. They make some of this stuff really tight soldering areas. And I would just soon use the 2-pin mic and then try different microphones. That'd be kind of fun. I'm hoping to get to that point. So that's it on that. So it's over to Ron, NU6F. And thanks again, Henry, for your write-up there. I'm going to look into triplet meters and the other things. I remember one of the guys I used to work with at National Semiconductor. He had a real great sound system, 4-channel sound system in his garage, and then he had a workshop next to it. And I saw on his bench there, he had a Simpson 260. And then he showed me another one. He said, back up. He had all kinds of test equipment. I used to have a lot. I had a scope, I had generators, different things before that darn fire hit. And I haven't replaced it, but I do have the 2 ohm meters here, which are voltmeters. And the most I could measure, I guess, is on the Simpson. On this Fluke meter, the highest voltage I can go up to is 600 volts. Is that AC? Let's see. There's the resistance. HFE, it'll even do that. Beta on the transistors, and to tell you if it's an NPN or PNP. Let's see, then I got a AC voltage. Oh yeah, that's higher. It goes up to, no, that's current. 600 volts seems to be the limit here. And I think this unit will draw more, but there is a meter on the front panel that I can use when I get to that point. Because like this linear here is up around 1500 volts, the SB220, and I have that monitoring when I'm transmitting. Anyhow, hopefully that'll give you enough info, but I'm very interested in a TR relay, microphone, although I'm thinking I can get a Shure pretty inexpensively, and I think it'll sound reasonably well. You notice I use the word inexpensive. 2 hams invented the penny by fighting over copper. You've all heard that one. Over to you, Ron. 73 is too long. Thanks for your help, Henry, and the comments from Mike and other people there on, they've been helpful for my family. 73.
Okay, good deal. Vern, yeah, sounds like you're having too much fun with that Heathkit Marauder. Little did it think somebody was going to pay attention to it after all these years. It probably sat in somebody's garage, and that thing's too old to mess with. And yeah, and then those Q-tips, if you're just using water, why, heck, you can still save those Q-tips. Put them off to the side and tell the wife, yeah, it's okay to use those. I just use them for cleaning off the knobs. So there you go. Yeah, how many volts you can get out of meters? Like Henry says, the little tripler I've got is the only thing that's got a 5 kV setting. But boy, I keep my fingers away from the cords and the pin jacks on it. Yeah, you don't want to become a silent key from measuring the plate voltage at 2,500 volts. And yeah, let's see. As far as yeah, I haven't heard that guy on the air. I think I've exhausted the CW. I think it was just like the novelty when I got on the 630 meter little chat nets, and you know. The 4 or 5 stations that hadn't worked CW for a couple of years, why, oh yeah, I'm going to try that out. And yeah, after a couple of QSOs with each, they're all back to it's all they chat about is their digital contacts. Okay, I'm on 1250 hertz, looking for an F1 QSO, and signal levels back and forth. Not yet. But yeah, and antennas, I think I'm about to the point. I'm 32 feet vertical and 140 foot capacity hat. I have 4 counterpoises, 2 ground rods, 4 radials that are 50 foot long, and then I added a 300-foot radial just to see what I would get, but it actually is showing very little ground current on that. So the bulk of the current is going to the ground rod and 2 radios that are out about 55 feet, and I've got ground rods at the ends of those, and that really seemed to make a big difference. So I've got at 100 watts, I'm getting like 2.3 amps of antenna current, and of course, and I've got the matching current coming back on the ground, and the antenna impedance, I measure with the VNA, I got it down to 27 ohms from where I started at 130 ohms. So I'm probably at the limit for what I can do in this area, considering what our ground is like. And 300-foot radial was that was curious to see. But the fact that it only took maybe 150 milliamps, 200 milliamps at the most of ground current, I said, yeah, I'm not going to gain much from that. So there you go. I think antenna-wise, I'm very happy with where I ended up with. And I did check, and I finally made the East Coast. Last night, apparently on Whisper, I looked at 10:30. I got pretty good signals from New Jersey and Pennsylvania. So I'm pretty tickled pink at that. And Mike, okay, on the Bogan amp, just think how much that stuff goes for now. And like you say, to get watts of audio per buck, why, that's a pretty good deal. And yeah, let me know when you want to go ahead and hang that antenna. And yeah, maybe I'll get Larry to come on over, and Lucky Larry will do a video for you. And Yeah, Dave, on the TCK. Yeah, I was thinking I was going to run that past the other Dave down at the Iowa and see if that's something they might be interested in. And, of course, they'll need to find a matching receiver for it and the rest, but I'm sure we could come up with something. But, yeah, that would be a great site for it. I don't know if someone can, if one of the historians can find the records and find out what they actually had in. I think there were 4. I think there was radio 1 through 4, and radio 3 was usually up second level above deck. But yeah. Okay, Vern, on the on your dad, and yeah, the politics and union stories. There we go. We're still talking about it after all these years. And with that, I guess I am going to sign out. Henry, you can now see nice big carrier levels from everybody, and so you got your new point of reference. Okay, guys, catch you later. With that, take it away, Dave. W6MQI and U6F.
And U6F, W6MQI. They're already wrong. Yeah, go ahead and ask them. About the TCK. I know that, what is it, the USS Massachusetts, I'm thinking, right? Which is an Iowa class. They have one on theirs. I've seen the pictures of it. I have the wrong name of the ship, but I know they have one. This has the antenna tuner too sitting on top. I've never used it, but it's there, plus extra parts. There was one guy that was interested. I didn't want to quite go as low as he wanted, but he also wanted me to deliver it. Well, I don't have a way of delivering it. I got lucky last time. I had a buddy that is a contractor, and we were able to go up to Jason's place. Load it into one of his trailers, but yeah, I don't have a way of transporting it, so that'll be difficult. But yeah, I don't want to go to Plan B. So I gave myself 2 years. Plan B will suck. But it is what it is. Mike, yeah, you hung in there that time. You didn't drop out, so who knows? I don't know what happened there, but you hung in there that time. And Vern, I want to verify your email address. Is that Tapper with 2 P's, or I guess it would be. So it's Victor Tango Alpha Papa Papa Echo Romeo at Comcast.net. Is that correct? Go ahead.
Use the low power because I just hit the mic. There's 2 P's. Tango Alpha Papa Papa Echo Romeo. Go ahead.
Okay, Vern, got it. I'll email you. And in that email, I'm going to ask you to measure the pin distance. I'm assuming they're all the same, but yeah, you never know. Mine might be the wrong plug, so I'll email you. And Dow key. I have a Dow key, but I think I want to get rid of that. Those babies are pricey on eBay. I don't know what the deal is there, but I've had pretty good luck using like 12 volt and 110 volt open frame relays. Put them in a box, you know, and use that as a Dow key. I don't know, I've had good luck there. And yeah, Vic, I know Vic, well not personally, but I've talked to him multiple times way back when he was still working on the local repeater here, 7045. Yeah, he's yep, right in the hills right behind me. That's a nice signal. I have never checked into the AMI. I've listened a few times, but I personally have never checked into it. But anyway, I guess that's it. 73 guys, and we'll talk to you guys later. Over Mike, W7MS, W6MQI.
Well, thank you, Dave. W6MQIW7MS. Well, it looks like there's some suggestions being offered, suggestions received, and maybe some other transactions in the works or possibilities. So that's all good. Yeah, those Amphenol, what are they, MCM2s that you guys are talking about? I can't believe what somebody on eBay, like an NOS one, I've seen them priced upwards towards $50. And I think even NOS, it might be worth $12, but and free shipping. So I think that's good. Looks like Vern's going to get his microphone connector. But let me see. Fine on rest in peace, Vern. Yeah, good guy. I think maybe we'll take a listen Wednesday and see if Vern is NCS. I think he's been having some issues in his personal life, but we'll see if he's there on the 5th. It's always a pleasant demeanor as NCS, and doesn't exhibit extreme geriatric issues as many of the other folks do, which is one reason why I rarely participate these days, because it's a haul to be on that frequency, especially with the interference from the southeast U.S. But enough of that diatribe. Fine on politics. Brought to mind when I used to be on the picket line as a single-digit 5-year-old carrying a picket sign when my dad was out as a union management guy picketing a job site with a painters union. So enough of that. Always look good, especially today in the era of social media. Get a little kid out there with a picket sign. Looks good. Looks good for the cause. But thanks everybody. Had fun. In fact, I looked out the window a while ago and it was snowing. So it's just another beautiful day, and it's so bright outside. I think I'm going to have to put on my sunglasses, but we'll see what happens. But with that, over to Henry. WA7YBS, W7MS.
That sounded like Vern on low power. Yeah, it's very, very, very light snow here. And a little bit of nulling. That's why I got on the V3 today. Everything is within arm's reach. Okay. And so, very good on that. And I don't have anything to add except, like I say, it's very, very lightly snowing here. Hardly noticeable, but, you know, I am hoping that later this afternoon we might have a little solar help, and so we don't have to go out there with a broom. You know, worst yet would be out there with a shovel. So anyway, with that, 73 all around. Everybody have a good week, and we'll turn it over to Chuck. K0DWC WA7YBS.
Okay, Henry. WA7YBS K0DWC. Yeah, it's still snowing lightly over here as well. So, I was looking at the weather and it was saying that I don't know how they figure this, but they'll show 90% chance till noon, and then at 1 o'clock it goes to 4%, and then at 2 o'clock it kicks back up to 43%. Now that's quite a bit. I mean, how the hell do they figure that? I don't know. But anyway, okay, guys. Well, good net this morning. Everybody sounded fantastic, and I didn't have any QSB on anybody. I still don't. That's how good the conditions are. So anyway, Carla will be net control next weekend, and she'll be modulating this D104 pretty intensely, I'm sure. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and shut the net down. You guys be careful out there today if you go out and mess around out in this mess. It's, you know, it can get slippery. But anyway, this is K0DWC, and I'll be closing the net, Vintage Military Radio Net, for today. And I want to thank everybody for their participation and invite everybody back again next Sunday. But like I said, Carl will be net control, and with that, we'll turn the frequency back over to regular amateur use. So guys, take care and have a good week ahead, and we'll talk to you next weekend. So this is K0DWC, Dayton, Nevada, signing off. 7-3, guys.
73.